Listen up. I don't care how you feel about this, and frankly, neither should you. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads that every man in history has stood at, whether they wanted to or not. Life is calling you to step up, and you don't get to walk away. Not without consequence, not without regret. You're being asked to do something you don't want to do, something you think is unfair or unjust. But let me tell you something that you already know deep down. Life doesn't care what you want. Life isn't fair, and it never will be. You think you're the first man to feel the weight of this? To face something he doesn't want to face? Look around. History is littered with the graves of men who had to make choices under the same crushing pressure. The men who went to war when they wanted peace. The men who built civilizations when they wanted rest. The men who sacrificed their dreams, their comfort, their lives so that others might live better. And now it's your turn. Do you think they wanted to do it? Do you think the young men who stormed beaches, who froze in trenches, who bled out in deserts, or swung from ropes in forests wanted to? Do you think they woke up every day, smiled, and said, "What a wonderful opportunity to die for someone else"? Of course not. They were scared. They were angry. They were tired. But they did it anyway, because they understood something you're trying to avoid. Being a man means doing what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing. Feelings are irrelevant. Your comfort is irrelevant. Duty is what matters. Responsibility is what matters. Sacrifice is what matters. You've grown up in a world that lies to you. It tells you life is about chasing happiness, following your passions, and finding yourself. It's nonsense. That's not what life is about. Life is about building something that lasts. It's about standing for something bigger than yourself. It's about taking the weight on your shoulders, because if you don't, someone else will have to. And who are you to let that burden fall on someone weaker than you? On someone who hasn't got the strength or the courage to bear it? You think you have a choice here, but you don't. Not if you want to live as a man of honor. You can complain, you can rebel, you can resist, but at the end of the day, what's required of you remains the same. The world isn't going to change because you don't want to play your part. The role is still yours to fill, and if you refuse it, someone else will suffer for your cowardice. Think about that. Think about the woman who loses her husband because you weren't there to take his place. Think about the children who grow up fatherless because you didn't stand between them and danger. Think about the society that crumbles because men like you decided they were above duty. That's what's at stake here. Freedom, order, safety. These things don't exist in a vacuum. They're built on the backs of men who were willing to endure hardship, to bleed, to die. And if you're not willing to be one of those men, then you're not just failing yourself, you're failing everyone who depends on you. You see, men have always been the ones to carry the heaviest loads. That's not a curse, it's a privilege. It's an honor to be the foundation upon which everything else stands. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's unfair. But fairness is a luxury afforded to children and fools. A man doesn't ask for fairness, he asks for purpose. And this thing you're being called to do is your purpose right now. You don't want to go to war? Too bad, war is here. You don't want to face danger? Danger is at the door. You don't want to sacrifice your freedom? Then tell me, who will? Who will step into the gap if you don't? Because someone has to. Someone always has to. And let's not sugarcoat it. There's a good chance you'll lose. You might lose everything. Your freedom, your peace, your future. You might even lose your life. But losing while standing firm is a victory in itself. Because dying for something that matters is infinitely better than living for nothing at all. You see, society has tried to weaken you. It's tried to make you believe you can avoid this, that someone else will handle the hard stuff, while you sit back and enjoy the benefits. But that's a lie. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to carry your weight. The only person who can do this is you. And I know you're scared. I know you're angry. I know you feel like you've been backed into a corner. But that's exactly where men are forged. In the fire of adversity. In the crucible of necessity. You want to be a man? This is what it looks like. It's not about muscles or money or bravado. It's about stepping up when it matters most. You can't run from this. You can't hide from it. You can't negotiate your way out of it. You've been called, and now you have to answer. Not because you want to, but because you have to. Because the world needs men who are willing to do what must be done, no matter the cost. And here's the hardest truth of all. Nobody will thank you. Nobody will write songs about your sacrifice. Nobody will build statues in your honor. You'll do this, and the world will move on, barely noticing what you gave. But that's not why you do it. You do it because it's right, because it's necessary. Because if you don't, everything falls apart. This is the weight of manhood. It's heavy, it's relentless, and it never goes away. But it's also the most meaningful thing you'll ever carry. So stop looking for a way out. There isn't one. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. It's a waste of time. And stop thinking you're the victim here because you're not. You're a man, and that means you're the solution. Now go, do what you must. The world is watching.